needs to score, not you needs to score. And I will explain now. Cristiano Ronaldo has been in that situation multiple times. If you make that run here, you make the defender take a decision.
Cristiano Ronaldo had just endured one of the toughest and most embarrassing nights of his career. Only 24 hours earlier, Lionel Messi had made history by scoring his first ever World Cup hat-trick against Algeria, and all eyes were suddenly on Ronaldo. The question everyone was asking was straightforward. Would CR7 respond? Could the 41-year-old icon deliver when the spotlight was shining brightest? The pressure on him was massive after Messi scored those 3 goals. On football's biggest stage, Portugal faced DR Congo in Group K on June 17, 2026, at NRG Stadium in Houston.
He got the pressure so much because Messi scored the 3 goals.
It turned into a difficult night for Cristiano Ronaldo, who was in the starting lineup and remained on the pitch for all 90 minutes. And the answer to that question? It couldn't have been more disappointing. This is the story of the night footballers turned Cristiano Ronaldo into the target of their jokes.
In the city of Houston, the home of the world-famous rodeo, Cristiano Ronaldo at 41 enters his last chance World Cup saloon.
And it's why people across the football world are beginning to wonder if this could finally be the end. The context. Everything seemed perfectly set up for a historic night. To understand what happened, you first have to understand the enormous expectations surrounding this match. The pressure Cristiano Ronaldo carried into that stadium in Houston was almost beyond belief. The opening days of the 2026 World Cup had become a showcase for football's biggest names delivering on the grandest stage. On Tuesday, Kylian Mbappe found the net twice as France defeated Senegal. Erling Haaland matched that feat with 2 goals in Norway's victory over Iraq. Then Lionel Messi produced a moment that captured the attention of the entire football world, scoring a hat-trick against Algeria. It was the first World Cup hat-trick of his career. Those goals brought Messi to 16 World Cup goals, drawing level with Miroslav Klose's all-time tournament scoring record. The reaction was immediate. Social media exploded, and attention quickly shifted elsewhere. Suddenly, everyone was looking toward Houston. On Wednesday, the spotlight moved to Messi's longtime rival, Portugal captain Cristiano Ronaldo, as fans waited to see how he would answer. Knowing Ronaldo's mentality and competitive nature, many expected him to respond in a big way and produce a performance worthy of the occasion. This was supposed to be his moment. The storyline seemed ready-made. Messi delivers a hat-trick on Tuesday. Ronaldo answers with one of his own on Wednesday. The GOAT debate catches fire once again. Millions were watching, and the stakes were even higher than that. Ronaldo became just the second player ever to appear in 6 World Cups, joining Lionel Messi, who had reached the same milestone the previous evening. And despite already making history as the oldest outfield player to start a World Cup match at 41 years and 132 days old, Ronaldo still had another landmark within reach. A goal would have made him the first player in football history to score in 6 different World Cup tournaments. Portugal also entered the tournament as legitimate contenders, backed by what many considered one of the strongest midfields in world football. Meanwhile, DR Congo were appearing at the World Cup for the first time in 52 years. On paper, the gap between the two sides looked enormous. Most expected a comfortable Portugal win and 3 routine points, but that's not how things unfolded. The match, Portugal's stunning disappointment, and this is where the story becomes even more painful, because the opening moments made it seem as though everything was going exactly according to plan.
There's no way of dropping Cristiano Ronaldo. Not even a split second.
Both goals arrived in the opening half, with João Neves putting Portugal in front just 6 minutes into the match. That early breakthrough should have set the tone, but according to Roberto Martinez, Portugal's biggest problem against DR Congo was what happened afterward. Once they took the lead, the team simply failed to show enough initiative. After Neves' 6th-minute goal, Portugal produced only 6 additional shot attempts for the rest of the game. Just 6. And where was Cristiano Ronaldo during all of this? Largely on the sidelines of the action. The numbers painted a difficult picture. Ronaldo managed 3 shots throughout the match, all coming after halftime, with a combined expected goals value of only 0.46. Not a single effort tested the goalkeeper. He also carried the ball forward just once during the entire contest. Think about that for a moment. In a 90-minute World Cup match, Ronaldo recorded only 25 touches. Espen summed up the reality with some brutal statistics. 25 touches, 3 shots, 0 on target, and just 1 duel won. It was the second lowest touch total Ronaldo has ever recorded as a starter in a World Cup match. Incredibly, Portugal goalkeeper Diogo Costa touched the ball more often than Cristiano Ronaldo. The goalkeeper, and this was in a game where Portugal controlled 75% of possession. Then came DR Congo's response. The Congolese side stayed disciplined and patient, and eventually earned their reward. Their first World Cup goal came through Newcastle United forward Yoana Wissa, securing a remarkable result in their first World Cup appearance since 1974. The equalizer arrived with a header shortly before halftime. Although both teams created chances during the second half, Roberto Martinez's side could not turn their dominance on the ball into a winning goal. It was a stunning disappointment. Portugal were expected to win comfortably. Instead, DR Congo walked away with their first ever World Cup goal and their first World Cup point. DR Congo have their first World Cup goal and their first World Cup point. On football's biggest stage, they've earned a result nobody expected. Incredible. Ronaldo's 2 missed opportunities. And this is the part that left Ronaldo supporters around the world frustrated. Because despite struggling for much of the night, he wasn't completely out of the game. He had 2 moments. 2 clear opportunities that could have completely changed the story of this match. In the 68th minute, Ronaldo found space for a shot, but his effort drifted wide of the right post. The move had already begun to break down before the chance arrived, as Pote made the wrong run before receiving the pass. Many felt he should have allowed the ball to run through to teammate Bruno Fernandes. Then came the second opportunity only moments later. A brilliant move involving Bruno Fernandes and Francisco Conceição opened up the DR Congo defense. The ball was pulled back perfectly to Ronaldo, who found himself completely unmarked inside the penalty area. He struck at it and missed the target altogether. What made it even worse was that Bruno Fernandes was positioned directly behind him, ready for a simple finish had Ronaldo chosen to leave the ball. At that point, Ronaldo looked less like a player focused on helping Portugal secure the win, and more like someone determined to find a goal at any cost. The result was another frustrating statistic. Ronaldo finished without a goal for the 5th consecutive World Cup match and extended his scoreless run in major international tournaments, including the World Cup and European Championship, to 10 straight games. Think about that for a moment. It has now been 5 years since Cristiano Ronaldo last scored a genuine open-play goal for Portugal at a major international tournament. Let that sink in. Thierry Henry delivers a stunning verdict. And then came the reaction. After the final whistle, some of football's biggest names were quick to share their opinions, and the criticism was impossible to ignore. One of the first to weigh in was a player who knows exactly what it takes to perform on football's biggest stage, Thierry Henry. The 41-year-old Al Nassr forward, still chasing the milestone of 1,000 career goals, failed to add to his total and faced heavy criticism for the way he approached the match. Speaking alongside fellow analyst Zlatan Ibrahimovic during Fox's post-match coverage, Henry wasted little time before making his stance clear. The important thing people need to understand is this. The team has to score, not you. The team needs the goal, not the individual, Henry said. Think about that for a moment. Thierry Henry, a World Cup winner and a player who scored 51 goals for France, looked directly into the camera and suggested that the highest goal scorer in football history had become too focused on scoring himself. A harsh assessment. According to Henry, Ronaldo's movement in attacking areas was actually making it easier for DR Congo to defend. He pointed to a second-half sequence involving João Cancelo and Bruno Fernandes as a perfect example. If he attacks the 6-yard box, the defender has to go with him, Henry explained during Fox's tactical analysis. That leaves a simple finish for Bruno Fernandes. But because he wants the goal himself, he moves into the path of the cutback. Then the defender can see both players, and suddenly it's much easier to defend. Standing beside Henry was Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and he agreed. Normally as a striker, you move from the near post to the far post to drag the defender away and create space for the player behind you, Zlatan said. Obviously, you made the wrong decision here, Cristiano. That was Zlatan Ibrahimovic, one of football's most iconic forwards, telling Cristiano Ronaldo on live television in front of a global audience that he had made the wrong choice. The wrong choice, Cristiano. Chris Sutton turns his attention to Roberto Martinez. But the criticism didn't end with Ronaldo. Far from it. BBC pundit Chris Sutton also directed his frustration toward Portugal manager Roberto Martinez, and his comments were just as blunt. "Ronaldo took the ball away from Bruno Fernandes behind him. That's embarrassing," Sutton said. He then questioned Martinez's decision-making. "Vitinha should have been playing instead of Ronaldo. That's embarrassing for Roberto Martinez." Are we all watching a different match? He's afraid to take Ronaldo off. He isn't the manager. Ronaldo might still score a winner, but the game has moved on from him. He isn't the manager. In many ways, Sutton was voicing what a lot of people around football were already thinking, that Ronaldo, not Martinez, appeared to be the one calling the shots. And when Martinez was asked about the situation after the match, his defense was simple: the best goal scorer in world football. That was his response. It might have carried more weight if Ronaldo had managed to put even one shot on target during the 90 minutes. Then came another critical assessment, this time from Luke Edwards of The Telegraph. He wrote that Ronaldo looked more like an aging member of Portugal's supporting cast than the superstar he once was. This may be his 6th World Cup, Edwards argued, but both he and Portugal had made an underwhelming start to the tournament. The player who once seemed almost superhuman no longer looked that way. Instead, he looked every bit of his 41 years. Some supporters will undoubtedly disagree with that opinion, but it also raises a difficult question. How much longer can a player who moved to the Saudi Pro League 3 years ago continue performing at the very highest level of international football? Kevin Prince Boateng delivers the harshest verdict of all. And then came the strongest criticism of the night. Not from Thierry Henry, not from Chris Sutton, not from Zlatan Ibrahimovic. It came from former Barcelona, AC Milan, and Ghana midfielder Kevin Prince Boateng. Speaking live on SBS Sport, Boateng skipped the diplomacy and got straight to the point. "Can I be honest?" he began. "If Ronaldo was truly thinking about the team, he would step aside and allow the younger players to flourish, because Portugal are a better team without him." Boateng argued that Ronaldo's presence creates an extra burden for the rest of the squad. There's so much pressure when he's on the pitch, because everyone wants to give him the ball. But he also made it clear that he understood why it happens. "I get it. I've played with great players like that before. Everyone naturally wants to help them score. I know he's chasing records. He's already broken almost every one of them." Then came the comment that generated the most attention. "But if Portugal wants to go deep in this tournament, I believe Ronaldo should step aside, let the others play, and come on for the final 15 or 20 minutes when the team needs something extra." And then he doubled down. A real team player would step aside. Hearing those words from a former elite-level professional carried a different weight. This wasn't a random social media account looking for attention. This was someone who spent years competing at the highest level of the game and sharing dressing rooms with some of football's biggest names. Unsurprisingly, the reaction online was immediate. One football content creator wrote, "Watching this version of Ronaldo is genuinely sad. I can't even bring myself to hate on him. He already looked past his best at the 2022 World Cup, struggled at Euro 2024, and somehow he's still leading the line in 2026. Others were even more direct. One fan posted, "Ronaldo is the biggest issue this Portugal super team has. The sooner they accept that, the better. There's very little a 41-year-old player can realistically offer at this level anymore." The Messi chance. The ultimate humiliation. But the moment that truly exploded across social media came after the final whistle. It's the clip that quickly spread everywhere. The moment many people considered the most embarrassing scene of Cristiano Ronaldo's 2026 World Cup so far. Following Portugal's unexpected draw against DR Congo, Ronaldo slowly walked off the field on his own, clearly frustrated by the result. As he headed toward the tunnel, chants began to echo from sections of the DR Congo support. "Messi, Messi, Messi," and everyone could hear it. The crowd was chanting Messi's name at Cristiano Ronaldo as he left the field after failing to score against a nation playing in only its second ever World Cup. Just think about that image for a moment. A player who has spent more than 2 decades building one of the greatest careers football has ever seen was walking alone toward the tunnel, while the name of his biggest rival echoed around the stadium. For nearly 20 years, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi have driven each other to extraordinary heights, both for club and country. Now, the 2026 FIFA World Cup has become the latest chapter in that rivalry, even without the two men facing each other directly. And at this moment, the contrast between them could hardly be more striking. While Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland all found the back of the net in their opening matches. The 41-year-old Ronaldo was unable to score in Portugal's draw with DR Congo. That contrast became even more noticeable when other stars also made fast starts to the tournament. Players such as Vinicius Jr., Christian Pulisic, Victor Gyökeres, and Harry Kane all got on the scoresheet early in the World Cup. Ronaldo's blank stood out even more as a result. Eventually, the Portugal captain addressed the situation himself on social media. "It wasn't the start we wanted, but this is far from over," he posted on X. "Head up and focus on the next game." A composed response, as many have come to expect from CR7. But by that point, much of the football world had already formed its opinion. Head up indeed. Because it had been a difficult night. The suspension controversy behind the scenes. And there's another layer to this story that makes it even more remarkable. Cristiano Ronaldo almost wasn't on the pitch for this match at all. Not because of an injury, not because of poor form, but because of a red card and a FIFA disciplinary decision that sparked major debate throughout the football world. In fact, Ronaldo was expected to avoid missing any Portugal matches at the 2026 World Cup, despite receiving a red card during a qualifying game after an incident involving a Republic of Ireland player. The decision generated widespread discussion and quickly became one of the most talked about stories surrounding Portugal before the tournament even began. Portugal applying pressure here. The delivery comes into the box. A player is down inside the area. FIFA later released its disciplinary ruling, handing Ronaldo a 3-match suspension after determining that his actions constituted violent conduct or serious foul play. However, there was a twist. 2 of those 3 matches were suspended under a 1-year probation period. In practical terms, Ronaldo received a 3-game ban, but only had to serve 1 of those matches immediately. That suspension was completed during Portugal's qualifying victory over Armenia, clearing him to participate in the World Cup. And not everyone was pleased with the decision. Portuguese newspaper A Bola was particularly critical. "FIFA has double standards. I don't believe any player other than Ronaldo would have received this treatment. The irony is hard to ignore. FIFA's decision allowed Ronaldo to take the field against DR Congo, yet his performance was so quiet that many people ended up questioning whether Portugal might have looked better without him." Statistics provider Squawka highlighted another troubling number. Ronaldo has now gone 10 consecutive major tournament matches for Portugal without scoring a goal. In the eyes of some critics, FIFA went out of its way to ensure he could play, and then the match itself delivered a cruel outcome. The scoreboard told the story. DR Congo's miracle, the other side of the story. But it wouldn't be fair to spend this entire discussion focused only on Ronaldo's difficult night without recognizing what DR Congo accomplished, because they were outstanding. Before this tournament, DR Congo had not appeared in a World Cup match since their defeat against Brazil at the 1974 World Cup in West Germany, where they were eliminated during the group stage. Since taking charge in 2022, head coach Sebastien Desabre has overseen a remarkable transformation of the national team. One of the clearest signs of that progress came when he guided DR Congo all the way to the semi-finals of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. And they have genuine attacking quality in their squad, with players like Yoane Wissa and Cedric Bakambu leading the line. What's even more remarkable is what happened when you look beneath the surface of the match statistics. Portugal dominated possession, controlling the ball for 75% of the game. Yet DR Congo finished with more shots, 8 compared to Portugal's 7, and generated a higher expected goals total as well, 0.83 versus Portugal's 0.64, according to FotMob. Think about that for a moment. They saw far less of the ball, yet created more opportunities and better chances against one of the teams many considered a serious contender before the tournament began. How did they do it? Through outstanding tactical organization, a disciplined defensive structure, quick, dangerous counterattacks, and a belief that never faded throughout the full 90 minutes. After the match, Sebastien Desabre spoke proudly about his team's performance. "I'm obviously very proud today because we've worked extremely hard. It was a very difficult match against a team that was stronger than us, but we showed courage and resilience. Scoring our first goal is a huge source of pride because it reflects the character of this team. And what a moment it was. Their first ever World Cup goal. Their first ever World Cup point. Against Portugal. Against Cristiano Ronaldo. on what may well be the biggest night in Congolese football history. An extraordinary achievement, the numbers that raise serious questions about Portugal. Here's where things become difficult for Portugal. When you strip away the emotions and look only at the numbers, this result starts to feel like more than just a bad night. Instead, it begins to resemble a problem that has been building for quite some time. Ronaldo has now gone 5 consecutive World Cup matches without scoring. His scoreless streak in major international tournaments, including both the World Cup and European Championship, has reached 10 straight matches. His last non-penalty goal in a major tournament came on June 19, 2021. And despite Ronaldo remaining a central figure in the team, Portugal have managed only 1 goal across their last 4 matches in major competitions. 1 goal in 4 games. Let that sink in. This is a Portugal squad packed with talent. They have Bruno Fernandes. They have Vitinha and João Neves, 2 key pieces of a Champions League winning Paris Saint-Germain midfield. They have Nuno Mendes, widely regarded as one of the best left-backs in world football. They have Pedro Neto, Rafael Leao, and Francisco Conceição. Yet despite all of that attacking quality, they have produced only 1 goal in 4 major tournament matches. The criticism from many observers is that every tactical adjustment, every substitution, every attacking pattern, and every set-piece situation is still designed around a 41-year-old striker whose underlying numbers suggest he is creating fewer chances for himself than before. If Portugal continue building everything around Ronaldo, who has scored just once in his last 7 World Cup appearances, there are growing concerns that the team may never fully unlock its potential. And the wider picture makes the contrast even more striking. Lionel Messi now sits on 16 World Cup goals, tied for the highest total in tournament history, while Ronaldo remains on 8. As a team, Portugal have reached the World Cup semi-finals only once during Ronaldo's 6 World Cup appearances, back in 2006. And perhaps the most surprising statistic of all? Cristiano Ronaldo has never scored beyond the group stage of a World Cup. Not once. Across 6 different World Cup tournaments, the player widely considered one of the 2 greatest footballers in history has never found the net in a knockout round match. Think about how remarkable that sounds. It is either one of the strangest statistical coincidences football has ever produced, or it reveals something much deeper about the relationship between Ronaldo, Portugal, and the pressure that comes with the World Cup stage. Martinez stands by his captain. But for how much longer? So where does this leave Roberto Martinez? Because the Portugal manager now finds himself facing an incredibly difficult situation. His team opened their World Cup campaign with a draw against opponents who entered the match as massive underdogs. His biggest star struggled to make an impact. Meanwhile, Portugal's most creative players, Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, and João Neves, spent much of the game circulating possession in front of a well-organized defensive block without finding a breakthrough. Yet despite all of that, Martinez has shown no indication that major changes are coming. Following the match, he insisted there was no reason for panic after a single result. These things happen at the World Cup, Martinez explained. He pointed to previous champions as examples. Argentina lost to Saudi Arabia at the 2022 World Cup before recovering to lift the trophy. Spain suffered defeat against Switzerland in 2010 and still went on to become world champions. Those performances, Martinez argued, did not resemble the displays of eventual winners either, but that is often part of a tournament journey. In his view, the discussion should remain focused on one simple fact. This was only Portugal's first match of the World Cup. Those are fair arguments. Genuinely fair arguments. But there is one major difference. Argentina had Lionel Messi at 35 years old in 2022, a player who was still covering every area of the pitch, dropping into midfield, connecting attacks, and taking defenders on directly. Portugal, meanwhile, have a 41-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo, operating almost exclusively as a traditional center forward, relying heavily on service from teammates that simply never arrived against DR Congo. Martinez himself acknowledged part of the problem after the match. After scoring the opening goal, the emotions of the game affected our performance negatively, he said. We stopped taking risks, we stopped looking for spaces, we stopped getting into the final third. Now attention turns to Portugal's next challenge. On June 23rd, they face Uzbekistan in a match that suddenly feels far more important after this unexpected result. And one question continues to dominate the conversation. Does Ronaldo start? Does Roberto Martinez finally make the adjustment that so many pundits, fans, and former players have been calling for? Or does he continue to back his captain and give him another opportunity to respond? Now we want to hear from you. Which reaction stood out the most? Thierry Henry's criticism, Chris Sutton's comments, Kevin Prince Boateng's verdict, or the crowd chanting Messi's name as Ronaldo left the field? Was Cristiano Ronaldo the main issue on Wednesday night? Or is Portugal's overall system failing to get the best out of him? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, make sure to like the video and subscribe to Football World Plays so you don't miss any upcoming content.